we just can't get started. We're just afraid to get started because we don't know what we don't know.
Hi, my name's Devon. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. I'm Devon Dickinson, and today I want to talk to you guys about fake it until you make it. And this is going to be like a 3-part series because I'm going to tell those stories about my good friends, and we'll call them L and D. And they were my mentors when I was young, growing up in business, not only mentors in business, but as friends and as fathers. And I just really admired the way that they lived their life. And I loved hearing about their stories. And I'm going to share some of those stories because I hope they're inspirational to you all as well. So for me this week, I had another moment where I was having, time with a friend who is looking to start something entrepreneurial. And, he had a few ideas of his own, and I had a few ideas for him, and we were kind of going back and forth and sharing, some thoughts on how to get started. And I could just see this anxiety in his face where like he just was like, I want to do it. I believe in kind of what we're talking about. I believe in, the plan that I'm putting together. But at the same time, I just, I'm scared to get started because I don't know everything. I don't know, what this first 6 months or year is going to look like. I don't know how to get that first customer. I don't know, what my cash flow is going to look like. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to convince anyone that I'm good at what I'm charging them for. And so, we were having this conversation and I was just chuckling because it's so true of what holds most entrepreneurs back, because we just can't get started. We're just afraid to get started because we don't know what we don't know. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm going to tell you that that's true for everything. You have to fake it until you make it. And my friends, L and D, we'll call them, have the best story for this. So they were immigrants. They moved here when they were young. I want to say they were probably like 12 and 13 when they moved here. And, like a lot of immigrant stories, they had a family of like 9. They lived in a 2-bedroom apartment and they were just struggling to make ends meet, but they were all hustlers. They had great attitudes. They were grateful to be in this wonderful country of opportunity that we have. And they were just determined to make something of themselves. And they knew if they wanted, new shoes or soccer cleats or basketball shoes, they were going to have to go and buy them themselves. And they also knew they had to make them enough money to help mom and dad out to be able to pay for the rent and to help take care of the little ones. And so they were just determined, confident entrepreneurs. And at 14 and 15 years old, they lived in California. They went down to Huntington Beach and Newport. And for those of you who aren't familiar with California, those are very nice areas on the beach with really gorgeous restaurants overlooking the ocean. And they got super dressed up. They drove down their crappy car. They parked the car around the block, but they got very dressed up. And they went to restaurant owners and they convinced restaurant owners to let them be valet parkers and that they had a valet company. Now, first off, I'm not suggesting we break the law, right? Because there's a few problems here, right? Number one, they did not even have their driver's license. Number two, they certainly didn't have insurance. I'm not even sure they knew what insurance was, but they were confident and they knew they had to fake it until they made it. So they walked down, they got dressed up, and they got one restaurant to let them valet park cars. Then after they got one, people saw them like parking cars for the restaurant down the street. They were able to convince another restaurant, and before long, they had operation in Newport Beach and Huntington Beach. They're hiring their friends and they're really running this valet service when they're not old enough to drive. But that's the story about faking it till you make it. Now, here's the thing. Did they, take some Lamborghinis and get some door dings? Heck yeah, they did. Did they know what they were getting into? Heck no, they didn't. But, you get a door ding, you pay for it, right? You get a fender bender, you're going to pay for that. And over the years, they developed it, got insurance and did things right. But in the beginning, you have to fake it till you make it. And that's what holds us back, because we think, how am I ever going to convince my very first customer that I know what I'm doing? Well, I can tell you, you act confident, you go and convince them that they can do it, and you hope that they don't ask for references. That's how I got started, right? And that's how we all get started, is with one customer and going out there and faking it until you make it. And that one particular customer, you might lose money on, right? But at least now you're started. Does that make sense? You have to get out of the gates, and you don't have to have a huge win in the beginning, because that's why people tell you, hey, listen, if you prepare yourself for the first 2 years, that you might not make money for the first 2 years, and likely you probably won't. That's because that's that faking it until you make it phase, right? That's when, hey, you have one victory and then you have 2 losses. And so next thing you know, you've lost a little bit of money. But the good thing is that you've got your company started. You've got your business started. And now you won't make that same mistake twice. And so next time, instead of maybe having 1 victory and 2 losses, you have 2 victories and 1 loss. And then hopefully 6 months later, you're now 3 victories and 1 loss. Now, after you've learned it and you've gotten better and better and better, the wins become easier, the margins become better, and your company grows. And hopefully after 2 years, you're no longer faking it, because you've made it. So I hope this story is inspirational to you, because it's how we all get started, right? Don't think that anybody gets into business knowing how everything is going to work out, knowing how their customers are going to react, knowing what their profit margins are. We all have to fake it till we make it. I'm Devon. This is Whiteboard Entrepreneur, and I hope this helps. Take a quick moment and hit that subscribe button for more content.